All right. So today on the program, very excited to have this gentleman here for the second edition of the Top Shot Shark interview series. Now, some of you may know him. Some of you have probably seen him on Wednesdays and, sometimes on Fridays, I guess, for shorter periods about other topics. But as some of you know, a large portion of the inspiration for this channel came from the popular program Shot Talkin. And that is where I really learned a lot of things. I asked a lot of questions about. One time I remember I bought this Kelly Oubre number 5 MGLE, and I was so excited. I bought it for $400. I'm like, yes, this is a great buy. What do you guys think? And then I realized really slowly, I may not know what I'm doing here. So I learned a lot from those guys coming into the platform. I came in a little after a lot of other people in late April, but safe to say I've learned a lot from this gentleman, as well as Christian Hardy, as well as Clegane, Brandon Soul before him, and Jason, and all of those guys. That's been a great environment for me to learn my craft, and I'm excited to sort of continue working on this project. But one of the first people to really encourage me on this is with us here today, and I have to thank him, very much for sort of being like, yeah, you got this, in the very beginning. So why don't we all welcome and say hi to Seth Anderson. Seth, what's good, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? And thank you for having me, man. It's awesome. Yeah, I actually really remember the first piece of content you put out. I jumped on it, watched the whole thing, and I feel like we need more people like you. We need more people not scared to go out there and make something. I mean, that's all I did, and it's pushed me this far. So I'm glad that you're just still doing it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's something where, I don't know if you feel this way too, but it's something where when it comes to Top Shot, I just can't stop coming up with stuff to break down for beginning users and the intermediate users and the advanced collectors. Like, my mind is just always turning when it comes to NFTs, probably because there's just so many things you can do with it. So I wanted to get into that, actually, because I feel like you have a quality I can't quite put my finger on, really. So I wanted to jump into you and your early history with Top Shot. So when did you join?
So I joined early February last year. I come from a card collecting world, right? So I collected, just from a collecting world. I was big into card collecting as a child. And as I got older, I got really back into paper because I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I played Pokemon in a tournament setting before too. And so I was kind of pretty familiar with the card world and the collecting world. And I was at a comic shop where I used to help them stream. And they were like, hey, have you heard of this thing called Top Shot? Somebody bought a $10,000 LeBron or something. This was in October. This is when it would I could have been really early. And I looked at it and was like, I don't know enough about basketball, and this seems so confusing. I didn't understand NFTs at the time. And a few months go by, and I kind of keeping an eye on it, but I really don't know what I'm doing yet. And then Brandon Soul hits me up, and he's the basketball fanatic, but he knows I'm the collector. So he hits me up and he goes, hey, have you ever heard of this Top Shot thing? And I was like, yeah, I have. I think it's legit because it's still going, but it's also really confusing. Why don't we just play around? Why don't we just check it out? We both jump in the same day, make some buys, sell them overnight. And they're like, oh, the first sale that you get is so addicting. And so we just started getting into it, and we both come from backgrounds as well as making content, working together. So we were like, dude, this is even if we don't do great in Top Shot, this is so fun to talk about. This is so interesting, so new. Let's start a show around it. Let's start putting stuff out. And that's literally how I started. I got sucked in from the very first moment. Besides the time I checked on it in October, I wish so much. Sometimes I get so frustrated with myself that I didn't just invest a little then. But yeah, I jumped in early February.
As so many people did. I wish I had the confidence to get in then. I remember seeing Top Shot and being like, I don't know what I'm looking at. At the moment, I'm looking at this Klay Thompson 3-pointer game recognized game, and I'm scratching my head for reasons. But I think I need to put this on the list here. Anyway, I get distracted sometimes by things like that. But yeah, I think I signed up for early access for the wait list on the email, and I was looking at the marketplace, and I'm like, what is this? Like, why are people paying $1,000 for what is this? Like, what do you get for this? I'm like, I feel really bad for these people. Little did I know, what was about to happen. And the more I wrapped my head around it, the more I was like, wow, NFTs, like mind blown, so Brandon sort of reached out to you, and then how did you guys know Christian?
So Brandon, so me and Brandon have been friends for a long time. So like we were like, okay, well, let's do this show thing, right? Mm-hmm. And as we were developing the idea for the show, Shot Talking, there was Top Shot started to explode, right? So we were like, oh, we're right on the edge of this wave if we can just keep pushing. At that time, like when we started our show, our first episode, our first like conversation about it, MomentRanks didn't even exist. Somewhere in those couple of weeks to like a month, MomentRanks was developed. They hired Christian, and then Christian, we found out they were looking to create a bit of a content side. And so we contacted MomentRanks, let them know like what we were doing, had an interview, and then we've just been friends with Christian ever since. I mean, they just supported us from the get-go. They needed to find somebody who was willing to put in the work, and we were like, hey, we're doing this anyway. So we were a little bit, we didn't know if we wanted to be completely on our own or go ahead and attach ourselves to MomentRanks. Well, the MomentRanks guys are so cool that we thought it would be a really cool way to like kind of cross paths. So Shot Talkin is still kind of the same thing, but it would be nothing, or like its own thing, but it would be nothing without MomentRanks. So it's kind of a blend there.
Right. And fascinating. Yeah, it's a fascinating enterprise. I don't know the guys who are at the very root of MomentRanks, but suffice to say, I've learned a lot from not only you guys, but also Play and the valuation tools that you have, and also the communities that have popped up, the little, the social communities that people have joined for like some of the prizes on MomentRanks. Like, Milk Gang has their own community on the MomentRanks website. That stuff's really cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. And so this is my, I guess my next question is, what would you say is your primary knowledge? Because you have a lot of knowledge between Top Shot, All Day, and Strike. And Strike is the one where I'm really the weakest. But where would you say your greatest knowledge is when it comes to those three sports?
When it comes to the sport, I'm UFC. I mean, I there's not a day like how most people watch basketball and consume, regular ESPN news. I consume fight news. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. I don't know why, really don't understand why. It's just, it's one of the ones that I'm very passionate about. I still love Top Shot, and I still love All Day, and I watch football and I watch some basketball, but compared to fighting, I'll never tell anybody because I don't want to like offend people who I know some people who love like Brandon. I'm not Brandon. I don't have the passion for basketball like he does, but I have that same passion for UFC. So this is just like the best thing that's happened to me in a long time, just because it combines the two things. I do have a passion for collecting though, and so that's why Top Shot still connects with me, and I still think it's awesome, and I still want to interact with it every day.
Yeah. No, I'm still having a blast despite some of the recent
Yeah.
I want to call them foibles, debacles, whatever you want to call them. I would be down to get into that with you also. Help me out, man. I need some help here. Sorry, what's that?
Let's do it. What you need help with, bub?
So I know some things about the UFC, but I really very cursory. Say somebody knows nothing about UFC. What would you tell them about starting out on Strike?
Okay. That's an interesting thing. If they knew nothing, it depends on, it's hard to know nothing because some fighters are like, huge, like they're household names. Conor McGregor, you can know nothing about the UFC, you know who Conor McGregor is. So it's almost impossible at this point. But Conor McGregor on here, his debut moment, it's very easy to be like, hey, go get that if you want like a long-term investment on UFC Strike. Well, the problem is that's everybody knows that one. It's already $600. So that's not really like the jump in point. I really like that their Series Zero contender set, which is their commons. There's 25 of them. It's not that expensive to complete. It's like jumping in early Top Shot, right? If UFC keeps growing, keeps gaining in popularity, which it has every single year, then these eventually might hold a lot more, and you're getting in on that early ground floor.
Right.
Series Zero was basically their beta, and there's a couple of fighters. They did a really good job at choosing fighters because there's a lot of them that are like up and coming fighters, and it's their debut fight. It's all these things. There's no badges yet, but they will, hopefully they will be. You have a really good shot at like, in 5 years from now, some of these fighters being champions, and you have their debut moment, their rookie moment for 5.
Yeah, sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
Oh.
So I know Khabib is basically never going to fight again, and I'm watching this. Oh my goodness! Oh, that is that brutal. But see, the thing I think about Top Shot coming from Top Shot is if a player retires or they're hurt for long periods of time and you might not see them, they'll have less moments, which means that it means A, that those moments will be more valuable, and B, they could potentially be more intriguing. I don't know how that translates to this because I know the number of cards, the number of fighters who maybe have a chance to fight again, the financial constraints, the physical constraints, the doping stuff. I don't know if I'm going to get demonetized for saying that, but the issues with the modern UFC, Bellator. I don't know if Bellator is really competition or they're just sort of like the ABA of UFC or something like that. But and I saw is Saeed, I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm just learning things for the first time here. Is this dude related to Khabib? Right?
Yeah, they're actually. I'm trying to think if he's cousin or not. I think he might be cousin. There's multiple though Nurmagomedovs in the UFC. Not all of them are related. So I can't remember if Saeed is actually cousin or if it's same area though. He's Dagestani as well.
Copy. Yeah. I got my love for Israel. I got John Jones is my dude. John Jones to me is like Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it was one of the first times not really being a huge football or UFC fan where I was like, damn, what are you doing? This doesn't make any sense to my brain how you do these things. John, I don't think John has a
does not have a moment yet.
Oh, I can't wait for that though. John is just a freak, man.
He's a goat, and he's very likely, he's taken a couple of years off. He's got problems that always come up. He's kind of a legend, but he's also like he's also just notorious for issues. But he's coming back as a heavyweight, and the heavyweight scene is so messed up now with Francis like out for a year because of his knee. Plus, he's on the end of his contract. They're going to have to figure out another interim belt. They're talking about John Jones fighting Stipe Miocic. Like, that would be incredible. Just coming out going straight for an interim belt. When they do a John Jones moment, it's going to be big.
Yeah, no question. I mean, those household names, Khabib, Conor, John, Izzy, Stipe, Silva. I can't believe Silva. I don't know if Silva's going to fight. Like, he's got to retire at some point, but I just, these guys could always come back. Freaking, we could see Chael Sonnen at some point. I don't know, but these guys, because the money is just not really that great with the sponsorship money being as low as it is, like, you could always see these guys come back and try and take another fight, even if they're just a shell of their former selves,
Silva won't ever fight in the UFC again. And that's the thing about the UFC, though. The UFC is the elite of the elite, and they do a really good job at gatekeeping that and making sure that. But Silva could take another. I mean, he's been taking boxing matches. There was talks about him fighting Logan Paul like recently. So who knows? I think he's 2-0 as a boxer right now. He's keeps taking these weird fights and winning, but he's old. He's old, but he is still a legend. And I don't think it'll ever take away from his UFC card. Now, if somebody goes down to like a lower promotion, if they try to get into PFL, if they try to get into Bellator, and they just start like they had a good career in, like, let's say like a Tyron Woodley or somebody. Wonderful, great career in the UFC. Then he's out of the UFC. He's done. He's retired. Now he's getting knocked out by Jake Paul. And now, do you think that tarnishes his legacy? Does it tarnish his name or his value? It's hard to say because he is still getting publicity, which might just put him in, and you might be like, oh, well, I want to buy more of these. If he's in your everyday lexicon, of what's going on. So it's hard. I see what you're saying about like, because the fighting game's so much different. It's not like when a basketball player retires, because they could come back. They could come in total and maybe screw up their legacy, maybe mess it up. But I don't know. It's a hard one. They're also, but like people like Khabib, like you were saying, Khabib's not going to fight again. I don't think he could, but if he did, it'd probably be in his own promotion. The cool thing about Khabib is he's ringside all the time. So he's always going to be in people's like mouths. Like you're always going to see him. He's got such a team. Islam Makhachev, who will be a champ. He's like ringside, his coach now. So it's like there's gonna be this constant like knowing about Khabib and him being remembered as one of the greatest fighters of all time. But he doesn't have to fight anymore. So his legacy is intact. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody should have told that to Michael Jordan around the year 2001, but hey, that's a long time ago. Yeah. Can't go relitigating things from 20 years ago. I mean, I have so little. I mean, the best way to collect is to know what you're collecting. I mean, for Top Shot, I'm a hoops fan, to the grave, and so that's why I can talk about it with confidence. When it comes to NFL all day, I'm like, Kyle Pitts. I know Kyle Pitts is good. I know Dak Prescott is pretty good, and so I'm just like, But the best way to collect, I think, is just to know what you're collecting, and because I have such little knowledge on UFC Strike, I'm going to defer to Seth and say, if you're watching this, go check out Shot Talkin on a Friday or the regular stream. And if you are not doing that and you want to get into those products but not know much about it, maybe don't be so cavalier, because these things take a knowledge of the sport that really, really helps you to know what you're buying, and I would not want to conjecture any financial advice without, really understanding the product. So coming back to Top Shot then, do you have any thoughts on the events of the last couple of days?
Yeah. So, man, this is weird.
Without spoiling anything that you might want to say for the stream later, because I know you got to go do that.
Right. Well, we will be. I mean, it's fine. But we will be streaming here soon to talk about it. And to be honest, I don't even know what to think about the last thing that happened. If you want to tell like I'm sure everybody knows, but the Run It Back pack that was saved for the FE challenge ended up being completely bought out, right? Were they completely bought out, or only 15 of them?
I think it must have been we can check here. But I think it must have been the rest of them, because there were only going to be two. It seems like, I don't know if they haven't been opened, but it seems like maybe they're all gone now.
They might have caught it. I don't know how fast they caught it, but they went up for sale for $59.
No.
And people found a link and they went to town. And it's probably, could you imagine getting one of those packs for
Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine?
I didn't have the dapper to even buy an MGLE pack. So, but I mean, you imagine buying an MGLE pack and being like, what, I just spent $89 on this. What just happened while I was waiting in the queue?
Yeah. I cannot believe that happened. Now, is that going to crush some people's, after multiple things, like things keep happening. And I stand behind Top Shot in that I think that they correct these issues way quicker than a lot of other places do. Like than a lot of other, it seems like they try to be on top of what us as the community wants. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get the ball rolling, but like think about them rolling back the mint counts. They've done a lot of stuff for us, but they keep having these little things that turn into big things. These mess ups that kind of like, we lose faith in them. And then it's really easy for the community to turn sour and be like, okay, screw this. I can't put my money into this if they're just going to keep messing up. This was one of those ones that I can totally understand why people are like, are you kidding me? Like, how, especially if you had completed that challenge and you thought you were getting, you know what I mean? Like it's wild.
Yeah, my thoughts on this, I know are so scorching hot. I've been hesitant to really say it.
I want to hear it. I
So
like your opinions. You have a lot of good takes. I like your takes.
thank you. But this one, I don't think anybody would like at all because I'm so conflicted. We don't want to see the technical snafus at all. I mean, those are the most understandable to me is the technical snafus, like not understanding that every line of code that you have may contribute to something that has unintended consequences. Like there are probably millions of lines of code on this page. Like I can't say for certain that some intern is going to know exactly the right procedure unless you say, here are the steps you take. If you miss one of these, you could have a catastrophic impact on the platform. I don't know what happened. A Top Shot update said it was a manual error. Somebody referred to an intern. I don't know if that's real. You've got to be disappointed if, let me put it like this. Let me try and be as delicate as I can. You've got to be disappointed if you own this or this. But if you don't own this, or this, perhaps you're not as disappointed. Right. Perhaps if you bought that pack for $59, you're saying to yourself, and first of all, like, do I really want to shame people who took advantage of that? No, I don't want to shame people who took advantage of that. I want to say round of applause, and maybe they're not as, maybe you know what I'm getting at here, but maybe they're not as maybe they shouldn't be as disappointed because for $59, who wouldn't buy one of those, and if these folks can get compensated with alternate pricing, I say it's not the way we wanted it to happen, but I see the benefit in a weird way, in a weird roundabout way that, but yeah, I mean, as far as just tightening the ship, it just feels like there's holes in the bottle of the ship, and you plug one leak and you just got to go plug another, and it's constant. I'm not going to say I'm not concerned, but at this point, I know what it has the potential to be, and the mistakes. I just think some mistakes are more excusable than other, and I have some weird faith. I can't explain it. I know people are probably looking at me like I got 8 eyes right now, but I have this weird faith that I'm going to continue to have, and I'm still here for it.
Again, I think you have a great take, because when this first happened yesterday, I was like, oh God, I was more worried about what Twitter was going to do than I was actually worried about Top Shot as a whole. Like, I wasn't like, oh, F Top Shot, this is so stupid. Like, I was like, yeah, this is a big mistake, and I know how people are going to take it. But just like you said, it didn't affect me at all unless I got one of them. I wasn't going to be able to complete that. I feel bad for, just like you said, the people who had those very hard, very few mint count, the Paul George, all these. I feel bad for those guys.
You know what? They've done just fine. They've 100,000 X'd.
No, I know. I'm just saying, put it into it as long as they're compensated the other way. But it's mostly like, I'm just concerned. I'm concerned with the way people take it. I don't think it's going to cause people to leave, but it just gets threatened all the time. So I like your take. I think it's true. It's like, is it really that bad? The problem is it's just these little things add up and people lose faith. I haven't lost faith. In fact, they always reaffirm my faith as they correct these things, but I can understand why people are upset, and I try to look at it from as many sides as I can.
Meanwhile, they're just randomly giving us $1 million to put into the marketplace. And I said before that happened, I thought we needed stimulus, and they delivered, and that's not a small commitment.
That's so much bigger than them messing up.
Yeah, it really is. Like, this is more like one step back, 17 steps forward. I'm proud of them for that, and I want everybody to have some perspective, and while also getting frustrated at the technical things that go wrong and understanding and appreciating people's anger on that, while also saying they can do a lot of good that makes up for this, like literally right before this went down,
100%. It's even more than $1 million, right? If you like add everything up in the challenge, like it's like 16 or like 1,600,000 or something when you add the extra. Isn't there some extra incentives in the challenge? Sorry, I can't see on my thing.
Hold on. I don't know if I think I'm sharing the whole window, right? You can see me looking at the blog here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
What was if the 200, like the share of? I could be wrong. I think there's a breakdown on our channel.
well, there's the NLL $30,000 for the grant and the playoff captains. I don't know that there was anything else, but maybe there is. Maybe I need to read it again. Regardless, I think that's definitely big.
It's still, it's still like, wow.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think about it? Like about the giveaway? What do you like? Let's look at the positives. Like, what are all the things that you feel like have been big positive changes? You said 17 steps forward, 1 step back with that mess up. What are some of the other 17 steps forward that you feel like as a collector, like, oh yeah, this is great?
Well, playoff tickets, league pass. I mean, when I first heard Jane mention offhand league pass, I was like, whoa, that would be crazy. And I stand by that. That is crazy. I love that people are, if I understand it correctly, going to have league pass for life as long as they're on this platform. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, I can't necessarily shell out for this, but with all the benefits that you get from collecting, I mean, that's awesome. I want to be able to watch more games without, seeing a bunch of ads that I don't want to see. And, those streams that people sometimes watch when they're not being so above board, if you know what you get my drift. I mean, there's a lot, I mean, I'm W Wednesdays. I love to see, I love to see this. Asia Wilson is like, you pick these moments for me and you will get one of mine. I love it. I've had to divest of all of my my W moments, except I have this Maya Moore run it back. But I love to see that because it really was a pretty affordable challenge for people who were already in the W, and even some people who may not have been. Just to bring attention back to that, the WNBA draft. I mean, everything that they're doing with the playoffs, I'm excited about. The VIP experiences they're going to roll out again. I'd like to see that happen more consistently. Not just around playoff time, but if I've got a chance to see my Suns possibly in the finals, then I'm there. I mean, as it so happens, I'm a huge Suns fan, and the Suns are the best team in the NBA, which at least by regular season record. So can't be pretty excited to get in, get my licks in with the live token leaderboard. I think I'm in the top 25 now, so I've got a chance of something. I mean, yeah, all of it is good. I understand some people were like, well, why are they releasing all these MGLEs at once? Why are they releasing all these hollows at once? It's because it's the last MGLE and hollow drop of the year, and they use the rest of them on the blended packs. I'm excited about the blend. Look at this. For a starter pack, your very first experience on Top Shot, you've got a 0.079% chance at a legendary. In April, I would have climbed a mountain to get this. Goodness gracious, this is awesome.
I think some people completely forget that when we started, that's not a thing that could have even happened. And that's the type of winning you need. Yeah, we all got in a little bit early, so we were able to kind of play with things, go up and down. I lost a lot of money. I gained a little money at the beginning, lost a lot of money in the end. And that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm still here. But to be early on and in a pack drop, there was not even a collector store back then, knowing that I could pay whatever, get a starter pack and have a chance to get a legendary, have a chance to get a rare, that's insane. That's so good for the platform. I hated it when people were like, I hate these mix, but like it should only be, that's just not fair. They're new people. We want people to come in, right? New people need those incentives, those bonuses, those nice things that you could pick.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit there at the end. So here we are. Here's a little place called MomentRanks where you can, I don't know, it looks like I may not be, am I logged in? I am logged in. I can see, obviously you can see your account value, you can see your net spend, fees paid. Didn't want to look at that. My groups, I don't have any groups yet. Got my moments. I mean, you guys are just upping the bar on customization. I think in many ways, the Top Shot profile customization may have been inspired by what you guys were already doing here. Dirty little secret that the community sometimes leads and Top Shot itself follows. You love to see that. What NFT? Let's zoom out to NFTs in general. What's on your radar with respect to any other NFTs that you may be looking at?
Respect to any other, well, the Cool Pets thing, they're launching today. Okay. So NFTs, I don't know. I do an NFT news show as well.
Right.
There's a couple of different things. The anime trend's pretty popular right now. The thing that said, I felt very connected to the NFT space for a long time. And for the last couple months, I feel like it's been a lot harder. I feel like there's a lot more bunk projects. There's a lot more, I don't know, negative sentiment overall. And it's harder to find. I feel like it's really hard to find the really good project. There's either these massive projects that come out and they already start at like 2.5, 3 ETH, or they're these like projects that are hidden and nobody can tell about, and they only move if a big alpha group kind of says that they should move.
Right.
And I don't like that right now in the NFT space, but that's going to be what it is. There's some clubs in there that you want to be a part of. I think some big ones, Moonbirds is coming out soon. That is one that, like, if I could get in, if I had the money, would be great. Moonbirds is going to be insane. It's part of the Proof ecosystem. Proof is like 90 ETH to get into, to join that club. So, this is, if you can get in a cheaper way, it's pretty great. Yeah. I know I like the Alien Friends community. I like Toy Boogers a lot. I think Toy Boogers is very underrated, especially because they do have the time show coming out. Things that are about to mint. I'm trying to think of what's about to mint. I think this one called Anata, which is a VTuber one. It's pretty interesting. So, VTubers, right?
Nope.
Okay, so basically your NFT it's programmed so that your camera will take you, and like if I wanted to be whatever my NFT was, that's what you'll see. It's like facial mapping and stuff. And so if I wanted to be anonymous, I could always talk and move as my NFT. And I like the idea of giving these profile pictures more utility than just being a picture on your Twitter. If you can actually use it, be it, act as it, have a real, future in the metaverse, I like that more.
Yeah, I have so many. I mean, let's say I'm an artist when I'm not doing NFTs. So of some kind, not necessarily the visual variety, but I know how to appreciate good art, and I love in concept so many NFTs that I look at. Sometimes it's sometimes you have to get into the Discord to really understand, appreciate what they're trying to do. I'm looking forward to something like Drivers, which I have a little bit of an F1 thing in my spare time, and that it's essentially based around the same sort of principles as Ballers, but I just like the art more, to be honest with you. The art with Ballers never really resonated with me. And they're going through their sort of sophomore slump, which inevitably, once it takes off from the beginning, you have to figure out how to maintain. And that's something that's the good NFTs really do, and the bad ones don't. Azuki has got to be so controversial right now with all of the scams. People don't know what to trust on Twitter. I totally understand that. And you see these verified accounts. It drives me crazy with these verified accounts that keep tagging everybody in creation saying, oh, we're going to airdrop you some coin. It's like, you really have to get on the ground floor. Everybody's got to understand this. You have to get in on the ground floor to get the coin. You can't just, nobody's really giving you anything for free. If they are, it's probably a scam, and I struggle, I mean, some of these, one of the ones are you in here?
Nerds.
I really like Nuclear Nerds. That's one that's been on my, oh my goodness. The floor is 0.25. With everything I do on Top Shot, it's really hard for me to flesh out even this, but I really would. Oh my goodness. This artwork honestly is
that's actually pretty good hold on the floor. I think that they I think whenever I was looking at them last, you could get in at like 1 point or 0.18 maybe. And then I think they've gone up to in the 0.4s. So not a bad hold. They've been out for a while.
They have, but I'm always squeamish. I'm always thinking, oh, what are as we realize, I mean, the decentralized aspect of Web3, it's on us to make the decisions, but the platform still holds so much of the influence in terms of setting the table for us to do what we do. And so you really, if you can trust the management team, that is good. If you can get a sense of the Discord. But, as we've learned from Top Shot, the platform can have so much say in how it goes down that even a great concept with great art and a great roadmap can go wrong, just get bungled to the point where people are just mad. And we have to figure out these Web3 dynamics still. We have a lot of work to do in terms of the conflict between decentralized and centralized, between is there an authority or is there no authority? Are we anarchists or are we communists? Are we somewhere in the middle? What is how do we strike that balance? That is something that every community is going to have to figure out for themselves. I mean, the potential is just through the roof. We've already seen it. Everybody knows NFTs just have massive, massive potential. But as for whether that car horn just distracted me a little bit. As for whether all of these projects will pull it off, sad to say, probably not. But the established ones, I mean, yeah, if you've got 6.9 ETH, God bless you. It's just, everybody can't do that. Everybody can't even do this. I look at this, I'm like, times are tough right now. What do you want from me? But in ideal, in another life, maybe, or maybe if I get a little more lucky here and this starts to go in the right direction here. But,
I got an interesting cheap play if you guys or if any of your watchers are thinking about it. I really like this play called Cozy Penguins. They have a game. It's already developed. It's beta testing. It's very cheap. You can probably find them as people try to flash sell them for like 0.02. They're very cute. It was a free mint and they're still working really hard. Like it wasn't like a money grab. It was a free mint. The game was already, in beta and you could play it, test it when they minted. And they're supposed to work with, the new Pudgy Penguins owner who bought everything. And apparently that there are some people from Facebook games on this project and from Riot games on this project. So I like it as a weird little... It's not a whole lot. If you can find one really cheap, might be worth it. Might be worth just checking out the game. But I grabbed a couple because I just think, man, free mints. I would rather, if it's a free mint, like why would they go through the time? Why would they waste? You know what I mean? So I like to sometimes take a risk or take a chance on the free mints.
Right. Yeah. The whitelist and the free mints are crucial. I think, I haven't actually minted. I've never minted anything. I actually have to go through that experience and sort of feel it out. I've never Top Shot. It makes it, you don't have to mint anything. You don't have to have the technical knowledge to do anything like that, or transfer between multiple wallets or convert between currencies or anything like that. So to be continued on that front for me, but I know you've got to hop off. This has been a wonderful conversation, Seth. You've got a lot of expertise in a lot of different areas. You can, if you're watching this, you can find Seth, Shot Talkin, 60 Mints, Discords of all kinds, probably some places that less interesting men would not dare to go. If this will probably get published after your stream, but make sure to check out Shot Talkin whenever they're live and follow anything that Seth's got going on. And brother, thank you for coming on and thank you for chatting with me.
Hey man, thank you. I just want to say one more time, I appreciate the fact that you're making content. And if I could leave anybody with anything, it's go out and make something right now. Like if I've learned anything from this space, it's make something. Like do what you love and share it with people. So I'm so pumped that you did it. And I'm really, really honored that you let me come on and talk.
Right on, brother. It's a pleasure to have you. Take care.
All right, brother. See you.